You're watching the Battered Fans Network.
Welcome, everybody, to episode number 9 of the Battered MLS Fans Podcast. I am your host, Daniel Granada, and as always, I am accompanied by 4 other MLS podcasters from around the league. So let me start clockwise from my left. Oh, no, I guess everybody's left, top left. Brandon Nurse, what's going on, my man? How you doing, sir?
Daniel, good. How are you? It's good to be here again, man.
Yeah, man. Look, I felt like we needed some Colorado love because I feel like everybody's talking about the 2-team race out on the West Coast. I feel like everybody's disrespecting you guys in the RSL, but we're going to get into that in a little bit. But I felt like we needed some Colorado love. And then I think the only team that's really out of it right now, Atlanta. Tyler, what's going on?
What's going on, buddy? I left Tommy at home, and look, the slide jabs, man. I'll let it slide.
Look, you guys over there. You guys might creep into the 9th seed to play us in the first round.
We don't deserve it, man. We don't deserve it.
I feel that. Edgar, LA Galaxy, big weekend. What's going on, man?
I'm over here just basking in the afterglow of another exciting El Trafico. It's like your nerves get all frayed, and then afterwards you're kind of jittery for a while. Or maybe it was the fact that I was actually at a Slipknot show, and I was kind of running around in the mosh pit.
Oh wow, Slipknot's still around?
Yeah. Wow. You're gonna make me feel old, man.
No. I used to love Slipknot. I still listen to them in the gym. I just didn't know that they still had concerts.
Hey, Tommy's still going to Blink 182 concerts. I like Blink 182, but that's what he does.
Okay. All right. And then last but not least, Mr. Jonathan Sanchez is going on from NYCFC.
What's up, everybody? I too went to the Slipknot concert a couple weeks ago at MSG in the pit. So yes, I did. It was a work night too. So that was a rough go about the next day. But yeah, I'm here at NYCFC Forever podcast. Yeah.
Whoa, man! And I threw Jonathan up in the big screen because I wanted to start with you real quick.
Really? Okay.
Yes, because a couple things going on MLS. A lot of things going on, but one thing just randomly that happened. Don't know why, and I wanted to touch on it. I'm sure you guys noticed also. We got new logos.
Yes, we do.
Now, if you just look at it quickly, you don't realize that it's a different logo. Left is the old logo, which my cousin has tattooed on his arm. And on the right is the new logo. Now, you can see bolder letters, less empty space. I kind of like the new logo. Now, Jonathan, how's everybody feeling about the new logo?
There's mixed feelings about the new logo, to be honest.
Okay.
I'm going to start with my opinion. First off, as a design, as a graphic, it's not horrendous, and it's not major impactful differences. You know, they got rid of a couple of circles. I had a friend that nothing about soccer. He looked at the badge years ago, and he goes, "What's with all the circles?" That's the first thing that caught his eye, and then that was the first thing.
I see him.
That's the first thing that caught my eye, that the white circle was gone, and it kind of like one less circle. But then there's another set of fans who either like it or don't like it. And then there's another set of fans who, like me, I fall into this position where it's not that I don't like the badge. I'm more upset about everything that has led up to this. Like, what's the reasoning? Why did it change? Why now? Who was consulted? Were the fans consulted? It's like a lot of more of a political issues on my behalf on why this happened. The bigger picture things. Yeah.
Now, could it have anything to do with your new chairman?
Oh, the new chairman announced I heard a few days back, maybe 2 weeks ago, that the Yankees were going to try to get rid of some of their percentages, some of their 20% that they had.
Right, yeah, they got rid of half of it.
Yeah, so this new guy, he bought 10%, and he apparently has like a background in investing in soccer teams in the CFG network as well. In Bolivar, that's one of the notable teams in South America. He was also part of like Miami's inaugural investment group, I think, into Miami.
He teamed up with David Beckham in 2012, and he was one of the driving forces in bringing the team to the MLS. I'm sorry, to Miami.
Nice, yes. So does it have an impact on anything grand scheme? No, because the Yankees didn't really have any say in anything for the team besides not letting us get our stadium in the Bronx for over 100 parking spaces. But besides that, they had no influence on the team.
I feel like it just went from like Yankees text over to like Mets text. It's just like it went from the thin, kind of fancy cursive to like the fat little bubble letters.
And this is part of like a rebrand that the team started in March, where they released a bunch of new color schemes. They added colors to like our templates, our NYCFC templates, and a new font which you see in the badge now.
Yeah.
So don't be surprised in the future you see a lot more purple, like the 7 train line, different tones of blue, and I felt that they're gonna get away from the Man City CFG tone of blue and go into more of a urban, darker navy,
Royal, okay.
more that's used in New York, like a little bit more
Grittier.
Yeah, and that's part of the team's rollout in this was to be like true to New York City. The New York City grit, I think, was the word that they used, and that's part of my issue. Is like, why don't you think about that 10 years ago?
Yeah,
it was the same New York.
Yeah,
Nothing
it's because of the Man City connect, probably.
Heavy influence Man City, connect CFG control early on, especially the first few years. Heavy influence, even up to like as something as small social media posts in the early years, 2013, 14, 15. Social media posts were coming from like QC from someone in England first before being put out, like stuff like that. It was like very heavy influence Man City. So the first home jersey, and I think they're trying to get away from that, which is a good thing. But the question I have is like, why rebrand? Why kind of like soft rebrands? Like teams in MLS historically who change badges and have like a colors change are teams that don't win or haven't won in a long time. Chicago Fire, New England, the Rebels. These teams that
Yeah,
they need something to spice up. Atlanta United in a couple years.
Haven't the Galaxy changed? Haven't the Galaxy changed the logos a couple
Even a
times?
decade in.
Yeah, Galaxy changed the logo just 2 years after winning a cup. So
I said for the most part.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they
Galaxy-
did it to. It was part of the David Beckham rebrand, though.
Yeah.
Okay.
As far as like you mentioned the circles in the old NYCFC logo, I remember when I heard about the original logo, I heard that it was designed to look like a subway token, so it
Yeah.
made sense to me. I thought that was pretty cool. I don't think anything was wrong with the logo itself. I don't see it as like a step forward or a step back. I more see it like a step to the side, kind of like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
let's reevaluate, the logo, and maybe this is what it should have looked like from the get go. And it's
They
I don't
dropped that
see
ball.
there's nothing wrong with it. It's just kind of like okay, it's a more modernized version of it. At least they didn't go full Chicago Fire where like they they scrapped it and came back with something that was subpar to the original one, but it's fine. It's funny that, by the way, that you mentioned the whole getting away from the Man City thing because they are moving to Queens, right? They're moving to like right across the street from City Field,
Citi
pretty
Field.
much. And now I'm like wondering, like, because a lot of people don't know this, the New York Mets colors, a lot of people associate that with New York, right? But the real background of the Mets colors is when the Mets, when the Dodgers and the Giants left the boroughs. There was that vacuum, right? What are all these Giants fans and Dodger fans going to do? They're not going to cheer for the Yanks, right? So along came the Mets, and the Mets were smart to incorporate the Giants orange and the Dodger blue, and they mix it together to form the Mets, and that's what the Mets colors are. They're Dodger
Wow.
blue and Giants orange.
I'm gonna
And
throw a
so-
little.
I thought it was based on the Knicks.
No, I'm gonna throw even the Knicks also. I'm gonna throw a little curveball in it. It's the colors of the New York City flag.
Yeah, that too. So it makes sense. Yeah.
The blue, orange, and white. Those are New York City colors. That's the flag of our city. So, and that's why
It's like a perfect storm.
yeah, the new color palette that the team introduced in March has a purple. That's the train that takes you to City Field. Like the train line, that color is
Yeah, the 7
included
line.
in the 7 line. It's included in our new color schemes. So maybe we do an ode to the the Yankees were leaving the Bronx. The Yankees sold 10% of the share. What's to say the other 10%? Maybe the Mets don't pick it up down the road a bit, since we're going to be doing business with each other because
Uncle
we
Steve.
need them to let us use their parking spaces. You
Yeah.
know, because our stadium's across the street, literally across the street from theirs. And even though our proposals to the city did not include any of their parking spaces because political, they couldn't come to an agreement about using them because there's plenty of other spaces available in the area. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Mets pick something up. You know, a little taste, a little sample right there.
Yeah.
That begs the question. Since NYCFC from the very get go have had that relationship with the Yankees, are they going to start stepping away from the Yankees and embracing the Mets more and more as time passes?
Yeah, actually, this season, when the schedule was announced, the team sent out like an email, a memo to everybody saying that, hey, we're gonna start pushing more games at Citi Field location over Yankee Stadium. This year we had scheduled, I think, 6 or 7 home games at Citi Field, the most we've ever had scheduled, scheduled from the beginning of the year. So we're supposed to start having more and more games in Citi Field as the next couple seasons combine, get closer to 2027.
Well, and just putting out there, I used to actually be an NYCFC supporter before Inter Miami came into existence. I was there. I was telling John before the show that I was sitting behind him for that first game. I come out in that video of that first game. And it was fun with David Villa winning MVP and everything. But then Inter Miami came into existence. Now, this past weekend, we had a couple comebacks. And I'll start with, the most fun one, which I'm sure Edgar is excited to talk about, and then we'll get into the rest. But Edgar, El Trafico. Actually, before I get to Edgar, I'm kind of curious with Braden. Everybody was talking about Galaxy LAFC. That's for the Western Conference title. Everybody's disrespecting Colorado and RSL. Do you think it's a 2-team race right now in the Western Conference?
Look, I'm going to be a little disappointing here and say no, or say yes, it is a 2-team race for the conference. Look, Colorado is on a really great run. RSL is on a really bad run. But, LAFC has a couple games in hand. I think LA Galaxy is probably too far ahead in the race to I don't know who's really challenging them. But as far as Colorado goes, their defense is just getting thinner and thinner by the moment. I don't know if you saw the availability report today, but Lawless Abubakar, who has filled in the Moise Bombito role at center back, he's going to be out at least for tomorrow. He's in concussion protocol. Sam Vines is nursing a hamstring. It's a repeat injury. The Rapids are being very, very cautious about that. Reggie Cannon just came in, can play really anywhere on the back line. He has been very vocal about the altitude in Colorado and how it's affecting him. Former FC Dallas guy, went to Queen's Park Rangers, spent some time in Portugal as well, I believe. But he'll be okay. We'll see how sharp he gets, how many minutes he gets. But honestly, I think Colorado's run probably not going to end up in a top 2 spot.
Well, and just real quick, Galaxy have played 29 games. They only have 5 games left, and one of those is against Colorado. That's a 6-point swing right there. You can make up some ground. But yeah, they Galaxy play Portland, Vancouver, you guys, Austin, and Houston. There's a chance, but I guess I can see why you say that it's a fat chance. The biggest chance you had was Galaxy dropping points on Saturday, and it looked like they might 2-0 or down 2-0 at halftime. Edgar, what were your thoughts on El Trafico?
Well, every El Trafico is an unprecedented event because it doesn't matter which team is doing better. For some reason or other, it's always a battle. It's very rarely where one team wins by more than one goal. So going into the game, you feel like this sense of anxiety that builds up. And then when the game is going on, you got that playoff feel to it, which is what you want in a nice, cozy rivalry, right? I'm sure Tyler feels the same way about the Crown and Coke, right? With Charlotte.
We're getting there.
We're getting there, right? Well, the thing is, you guys don't have to see them in the same city, right? You don't have to see the people walking around wearing the gear, and if your team happens to lose, you don't have to have, some random stranger looking at you, mad dogging you wearing LAFC gear, and you're like, what? What an amazing game. I know from the LAFC perspective, it's very frustrating because they're trying to prove that they have all the right pieces to make another cup run. And here comes the LA Galaxy, who you've beat twice already this season. Go ahead and sweep them, right? Beat them again in Carson at the Dig. And LA Galaxy goes down to nothing. LA Galaxy throughout the entire season has been a better second half team. They make adjustments at the half, and and this time I know a lot of people were like, well, maybe they could come back, but the general consensus was like, damn, this is terrible. We're down to nothing. These guys look like they're flying, but my God, they came back and they played the level of football that a lot of people have been wanting them to play the entire season. And now the question is, can you guys do this for 90 minutes? Um, Now, yeah, being down 2-0, and then you start this comeback, you started chipping away at it, right? Dejan Jovalic, you got to beat a goalkeeper like Lloris, you gotta score some really good goals. And Dejan Jovalic turned his defender inside out, banger to the far post, up in the upper 90. And then comes Edwin Cerrillo with another banger to the upper 90, almost to the same spot to beat Lloris. And at that point, you could feel the LAFC fans starting to like really get nervous. They're like, "Oh my God, it's happening again! Not again, please!" The ghost of Zlatan is running around screaming in the stands. And then, they made it 3-2, and then the final dagger, that 4-2 goal. Dejan with the 2 goals, Ricky with the final nail in the coffin, and Galaxy fans, it's a sense of relief, a sense of kind of gratitude for everything the team has done the entire year. It's a huge turnaround from where they were a year ago, where people were angry with the front office. They were upset with everything that was going on behind the scenes. The fan boycott was starting to brew already at that point. People were talking about how what can we do to try and affect change in the team. And then you have a victory like this, and it galvanized the entire team, the entire fan base. But yeah, afterward, oh my God, yeah. I mean, it's not good for your heart, for your heart rate, man. It's not good for if you have heart issues. Like me, I was at the Slipknot show, but I was following the game on my phone the entire time, right? I'm there, I'm like watching it, and right before Slipknot comes onto the stage, Ricky Puig got the 4th goal, and I'm like, yeah, I can go in there and whoop someone's ass, right? I'm gonna go look for the first LAFC hat, and I see it in the pit. Let's go. But just to cap all this off, after the show, I did run into some LAFC fans, and they come to me and they patted me in the back, and they're like, "Hey, man, respect. That was a good game. Ricky Puig is a beast." And I was like, "Wow, thank you."
How do you guys feel? How do that Galaxy fans feel going into the playoffs? You think if you match up against LAFC again, you feel confident that you can make the finals?
I think that's one of the important things about this win, because the first game came down to a controversial penalty call. It should not have been a penalty, but it was awarded to LAFC, even though the VAR ref was telling the ref, it's not a penalty, it's not a penalty. And the ref is like, I don't care what you have to say, I'm calling a penalty. LAFC won.
That was pro? Really? I wouldn't expect that with pro refs.
Oh, of course not, man. The cream of the crop, baby. And then the second game was that awful game that the LA Galaxy had at the Rose Bowl. And then there was some expectation they might have met in Leagues Cup. It didn't come to be. But then we all knew that this game was coming, and so you could hear podcasters from both sides of the fence saying that the West was going to come down to this one game, even though LAFC had won those previous 2 matches. That the way things had all shaped out, it was going to come down to this one game. Granted, there's still several games to go. I mean, no disrespect at all to Colorado and the other teams that we still have to play, but when you look at the top of the West, there's 2 teams that are fighting for it, right? And those are the 2 teams that are most likely to come out on top. So there was a lot riding on this. More than just the usual bragging rights, it was an opportunity to stick it to them and then get that momentum to go into the playoffs and hopefully have that home field advantage, because LA Galaxy does not play well at BMO Field, but they're undefeated at Dignity Health Sports Park. A lot of people don't look at the Rose Bowl game as a game at the Dig, but they are undefeated at Dignity Health Sports Park, and that goes a long way.
LAFC has 2 games in hand. So if they win both of those games, they're at 54 points. So you guys are neck and neck, basically, if LAFC
Yeah.
can keep winning. So it should be an interesting run here to the end. Do you think El Tráfico is the best rivalry in MLS? And I'm going to start with John because the Red Bulls, I know firsthand that the Red Bulls kicked NYCFC's ass more often than not. So do you think that El Tráfico is the best rivalry in MLS?
I think so. Yes, especially in the past 6-7 years, it's been the most. It's been the most important. Like the momentum of the meaning of the actual matches, individual matches have had a lot of meaning. The Rose Bowl game, the 2 Rose Bowl games, I believe now at this point, right?
Yeah,
Rose Bowl games. They have Zlatan's debut. They had the Chicharito clown game moment. You know, like
I think that was San Jose.
that was
You're
San
talking
Jose.
about you're talking about the
no,
Ricky Pooch one.
Oh yes. My bad. Sorry. Like, but I feel like the Rebel NYCFC derby, Hudson River derby, in recent history, the Rebels have been kind of irrelevant in the standings. Like, so it's been like maybe kind of one-sided in our favor the past 3 years. Has lost a little luster, especially on the fans side of things. Like, no one goes to their games, so the atmosphere in stadium is not the same as nowhere near as it was 7-8 years ago, and that's why I put the Trafico ahead of Cascadia, Portland, and Seattle.
Yeah, that's another good one. Tyler, what do you think is the best rivalry in MLS? Is it El Tráfico or is it Hell is Real?
Yeah, by far. I think. I mean, look, Hell is Real is definitely building something for sure.
Yeah,
You know, that's the East Coast El Tráfico right now.
right, basically.
Yeah.
I think El Tráfico has the benefit. You've got like Edgar was saying, you've got 2 teams that they hate each other and they're a few minutes away, depending on LA traffic. But
right.
I mean, it's by the definition of a derby, it's exactly what you want. And even the years when LA Galaxy was not playing the best, the El Tráficos were quality entertainment. Like, as a neutral, you're having fun watching those games.
Yeah,
for sure.
And yeah, Hell is Real. You could say the same thing, but there's something about having those teams in the same city that is just really, really fun to watch. And as an East Coast guy, I enjoy it all the time because we don't play those teams often. So yeah, I think by far. And then of course, the New York guys for sure. Like John was saying, you have 2 teams, but one of them is definitely putting in a lot more effort than the other one. And El Tráfico doesn't have that problem. You've got
back when it was Bradley Wright Phillips and Ayuvija and all those games were fun. But the Red Bulls would come out on top more often than not.
But see, back then it felt more like the actual players, for whatever reason, they actually hated each other. It really felt that way. That like the play of this guy, Felipe, Dax McCarty. I hated Dax
McCarty also.
Like with a passion. Like when he announced his retirement, the group chat went on fire, like raising, like fuck Dax McCarty. Yeah. Everywhere he's gone, he's tortured us. So
I hated Dax McCarty also. That's where
the intensity
it gives me some hope for a couple of weeks from now.
Yeah, the intensity of the games, the Hudson River Derby, I've gone down. Sneaky shout out. I would say the Missouri one. I don't know, whatever they want to call it, Kansas City and Salt.
I think it's called they're calling it the Derby Q.
Okay, they can work on that.
Let's go with that. The
with St. Louis, I think they could potentially, especially with the how good the fan bases are, that they could turn that into something in the future. And it's one of those rivalries that you can say it's a rivalry, but it's very friendly because I feel like the fan bases are really good fans, towards other people and stuff like that. So I think it could be very friendly, banterful derby there, rivalry between them.
Braden, what would you say is the best rivalry in the MLS?
Well, first of all, I have to say that Derby Q is a horrible name for that rivalry.
How dare you?
It's not good. But yeah, it has to be it has to be El Trafico, right? I mean, it's not the most historic rivalry in the league, even not in California. I mean, you still have San Jose and LA Galaxy, and I think Edgar can speak more to how much those teams hate each other now, probably not as much as 10, 20 years ago. But yeah, I mean, even like we talked about it with the New York teams. Same thing with the Rocky Mountain Cup between the Rapids and Real Salt Lake. Real Salt Lake has been the better team for 80% of years that it's gone. This year the Rapids won it, so shout out. But yeah, it has to be El Trafico, right? I mean, it's as even as you'd like. I think I just looked it up. Out of 24 games, it's I think the Galaxy have won 10 or something like that. Edgar, you probably know more. But yeah, just in terms of entertainment value, competitiveness, it has to be El Trafico.
Real
Yeah.
quick, the
Oh, go
Hudson River Derby coming up in like 10 days or so is going to be the latest in the calendar year they've ever had that rivalry match at the end of September. And depending how it goes in the next couple matches, up to last weekend, we were behind them in the standings, which is going to put a lot of juice on the game. And maybe this game right here at Rebel Arena, where it's been a house of horrors historically for NYCFC to go play at, some sparks can happen, because the game's going to mean the point's going to matter a lot more at this stage of the year than if this game would have happened in June or July.
Well, yes, I agree. When you have a derby game that has playoff implications, which it does, as you can see in the standings, they have one game in hand, and you guys are 3 points behind them. So big implications to that game. But I just wanted to touch up real quick what Braden said. I looked it up. LAFC and LA Galaxy have played each other 23 times. They've both won 9 games, and there's been 5 draws. So that is as even of a rivalry as there could be.
Now, can we include the Chivas USA days? Because Galaxy fans do.
No.
And then it's really lopsided.
Yeah, no, I think that LAFC fans would rather not include the Chivas days. All right, so moving into real quick, this past weekend, we had, obviously, we talked about El Trafico. Hell is real, 0-0 draw. I mean, you kind of expect that from those two teams. I think that was like when the betting odds was highest for a draw when I was looking into betting one of those games. I'm not surprised. Were there any surprises on any of the results that you guys saw here, outside of maybe Atlanta losing to Nashville 2-0, when Nashville is horrible? They literally average 1 goal a game, and they managed to score 2 on you.
I would like to name that rivalry the barbecue.
No, don't put that on me.
Atlanta and Nashville, the
Don't
barbecue.
put that. Jordan's not barbecue. It's all fried. We'll do something with fried, but not barbecue.
Anything that stood out to you?
Yeah, I'm a little shocked that the Red Bulls lost to Chicago, because whenever anybody loses to Chicago, it's one of those moments where you're like, what? Did that really happen? Like, what? The Chicago Fire, they have a team up there? I don't mean it like that. It's just, I remember when Galaxy lost to them, it was the first time in 14 years that Chicago beat the LA Galaxy. And so going into the game, Chicago was like, I mean, they've had such an awful season, right? And so everybody was just like, it's another W in the pocket. And the Galaxy had one of the worst games of the season. Ricky Puig looked terrible, and they lost. And afterwards, everybody's like, what the hell just happened? And meanwhile, Chicago fans are celebrating like they just won the cup. So seeing them beat New York, I was like, whoa. It's a little shocking, especially at this point of the season when points count so much, right?
And I believe it's a former Rebel player who scored on them. Tom Barlow was one of the goal scorers for Chicago.
Look at that. To me, I was surprised that Houston kicked Salt Lake's ass as bad as they did. Real Salt Lake on the top half of the Western Conference playoff seeding. And that's a big blow. Colorado took full advantage, and they moved up to 3rd place after that. Braden, what the hell's going on with RSL? I know that you do Colorado, but you have any idea what's going on with RSL? Because they've been slipping recently.
Yeah, I'll tell you. It's Andres Gomez got sold. That guy was a top 3, probably top 2 player on that team. They sold him. Haven't really been able to replace him, and I think it'll come. I can't remember who exactly they signed, but it was another DP level guy. But it takes time for guys to gel, and it'll take time for them to get back to winning ways. But Houston is the real deal. It's not all about Salt Lake sliding the way they have, but Houston is the real deal. I mean, they beat LAFC at BMO, which I think is one of the only teams to do so. And the Rapids, I can speak for the Rapids in that they've only lost twice this season to two teams, and that's LAFC, or multiple goals to two different teams in the MLS, and that is LAFC and Houston. So I mean, almost kind of a trap team for the Rapids, and it seems like almost a trap team for the rest of the league the way they're going. And I know they're, I think, in 7th currently, but they're only 3 points away from knotting up that third place 3-way tie kind of thing.
In LA, by the way, whenever you say Houston to MLS fans, whether it's Galaxy or Houston or LAFC fans, everybody kind of cringes a little. I know LAFC fans have been cursing Houston for like the last month or so. They're just like, nah, not those guys again. We don't want to see them again. Please, no Houston. And Galaxy fans, every damn year, we look at the schedule and we're like, Don Garver, what are you doing to us? Because they always schedule Houston at the end of the season. We always have Houston on decision day, and more often than not in the last 10 years, Houston has done something to eliminate the Galaxy from the playoffs. So we're looking at the schedule, and you look, oh my God, we got Houston on the road for the last game of the season. Thank goodness they clinched that playoff spot, because if it had come down to that final day, I guarantee they would have lost that game.
Speaking of scheduling, you know what irritates me, and this is I'm not trying to jump to a different topic, and I want to.
No, go for it.
They scheduled this Atlanta Miami game on a Wednesday.
Yeah, they keep doing that to me,
dude. It's so irritating. Like, take away Atlanta and Miami fans, but as a business, right? You have Mercedes-Benz Stadium, which is one of the biggest stadiums in the league, and you have potentially Messi, right? We didn't know, but we do now. You have Messi possibly coming up. Why would you not schedule that on a Saturday? Like, knowing good and well, it was different last year, right? When Messi wasn't here. But now he's here. Why would you not put that on a Saturday and completely sell out Mercedes-Benz Stadium?
Because they're going to put Yankee Stadium on Saturday.
Maybe they thought that Miami would be in the U.S. Open Cup final.
Let me tell you something. I'm a Yankee fan. I think it's dog shit that they still play in a baseball stadium.
Oh yeah, but you gotta learn to accept these things at this point, because as a fan, we knew we were playing in a baseball stadium. We didn't know when we were getting a stadium, and now that we have a date for a stadium, now it's just like, all right, whatever. We just gotta keep doing this, like it's like you're like in an arranged marriage and you have an expiration date or something. Like we just gotta get to that date.
I get you, but if it were up to me, I would have switched the game Wednesday and Saturday, just because, for example, Gonzalo Higuain, solid career internationally, right? Maybe not, definitely not Messi level, but solid career. His career ended in it was in a City Field. City Field on a baseball stadium. About
30 feet away from me.
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
He was right there. And I was like, we sent him packing in a baseball stadium. on a foggy, misty. There's like 7 people.
It was a horrible night. Yeah,
it wasn't that, because the weather was really bad, so a lot of people didn't go or didn't get tickets or whatever. But it wasn't a great crowd for I think it was a playoff game too.
It was a playoff game.
Yeah, and we just sent him packing. It was great.
Man had never been in a baseball stadium in his life, and then
he had never been in a baseball stadium, and that's how his career ends.
There's a picture of him. There's a picture of him. I forget which team or the MLS, whoever posted it. It's like him, and you see like in the background the like the facade of the stadium, like the upper deck of the stadium, and he has like this look like, damn, it's over. But in reality, it's like, I finished here. Like
this is where it ends.
This is where it ends.
He played for Real Madrid. He played for like some really big teams, and that's where it ends. Queens
standing on the pitcher's mound.
Yeah.
It was bad. It was bad. I hate that they still play in that baseball stadium. But like you said, just got to accept it at this point. This past weekend also, Messi came back. And in the first half, he scored 2 goals. He came back. He played 90 minutes, which was not expected. I have a question for you guys.
Sure.
He now has 14 goals. He's 4 goals behind the Golden Boot. He's only played 13 regular season games. There's people putting it out there. Right. He is right up there with lead contributions, goal contributions. I believe he's in the top 5. I have to double check. Do you think Messi should or even could be considered an MVP candidate, seeing as how he'll play probably half the season even though he has stats that are comparable with the best players in the league.
If he was anybody else, he would be, and I don't think you can take it away from him just because of the fact that he's going to be in that conversation no matter what. I mean, it just proves how good he is. And if you had a guy that no name that showed up and played half the season and scored the goals and had the contributions he did, then everybody would be screaming for him to be MVP. And so, as annoying as it is, I don't think it's right to take him out of the conversation. It's different. Maybe the all-star game or something, but
there's some people that are saying that they wouldn't like him being considered since he's played such a small amount of minutes. I'm with you. I think if
he's an MVP though, right? Like that's the whole point.
I think the argument is also the fact that he left for those 2 months and Miami kept winning.
Yeah.
So that kind of brings down the whole most valuable player.
You can thank Tata Martino for that. So
I agree, and that's a whole other argument that we have on our show. But okay, so Tyler, you think that he should still be considered MVP or an MVP candidate? Braden, do you think that he should still be considered an MVP candidate if he were to get close or comparable? He's already there as far as stats go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, why not consider him? I mean, is Lionel Messi, right? But I mean, he has a teammate who is in that discussion too. Luis Suarez, I think, will be in the top 4 or 5 in the MVP discussion. But yeah, I'll go back to what Tyler was talking about with, Miami was still playing good without him, and they were winning games, and they're gonna win the Supporters' Shield for a reason. I will say too, like Messi's value over his replacement is probably pretty high. But at the same time, there's other guys that can be, considered as well. I'm not 100% sure that it's going to be Messi, but he's for sure in the conversation.
Edgar, what do you think?
I think when talking about Miami, you got to bring up Luis Suarez because he's been consistent throughout the entire season. And he's one of the reasons why Miami is where they are, because you lose your talisman and Leo Messi. I mean, look at who you have, Luis Suarez, right? And a lot of people are saying, Suarez isn't going to be doing so well. He's washed up. He has all his injuries. And my God, this guy has found the fountain of youth from Florida, right? And he's been consistent. And I think if you ask me, I would have him. I would name him the MVP.
Okay. All right. John, what do you think?
I think my dog's going crazy right now. I think Messi. Watch out, bro. Look at him trying to get in the shot. I think Messi will be included in the MLS Cup. MLS MVP race. I don't think he should win it though, because just because he's after it's all said and done, he may get to half the games. And I think there has to be some type of minimums, just how the NBA did, like a minimum on how many games you could play to qualify for certain awards.
Your dog disagrees.
My dog's a Messi fan. Apparently, he's about to get put up for adoption. I don't think so, but I think he will win it. I will think he will win it. Yo, chill, bro.
Well, look, Messi has played 13 games. He has 28 goal contributions, which is absolutely ridiculous. And if he were to play the remaining 6 games, he would get to 19 games played, which is over half. It's 2 games over half. So will he play all 6? I don't know. I was surprised he's going to play in Atlanta tomorrow, so he might. But at the rate that he's going, he could end up with almost a 2020 season. Will he get there? Probably not, but it is possible.
I hope he does play
2020.
I hope he does play in Atlanta, and it goes sour, and he doesn't play at Yankee Stadium. Yankee Stadium's getting ready to sell out. Guys, pay attention. Yankee Stadium's going to be almost a sellout crowd. 40 something thousand people going to be there.
Has it ever sold out? Like, has it sold out this season at any point?
This season, no. It hasn't sold out. I don't think they've opened the upper deck at Yankee Stadium in a few years. Maybe a playoff game, maybe, or one of the Leagues Cup games, the Campeones Cup. I don't know. No, we don't open. We maybe open the upper deck once a year, maybe at that. So, in this time, I think I saw today cheapest tickets for $200. There's tickets going for $10,000.
God, damn.
Yeah.
To sit behind the flagpole.
New York is so fucking over the top with their pricing, man.
Like Miami's not that far behind on that.
It is compared to New York. New York is ridiculous with that shit.
But
Miami's getting there. I'll give you that. But it's not there. It's not there yet.
Because I think he's gonna he's gonna get to second base, Yankee Stadium second base. I'm telling you, pay attention. Have you ever watched an NYCFC game at Yankee Stadium? The second base area catches people every game. There's a dead body coming up laid out every game from second base. Every game at second base, the sod monster comes and just takes over. Yeah. I can't wait to see the reaction, because he's gonna have a camera following Messi when he steps, makes the sod come up, and he's just looking at this. He's like, "What the hell? I want to see." That's what I want to see.
Yeah, the Yankee Stadium thing still drives me crazy. All right, Tyler, do you think that there's a chance that Inter Miami breaks the record for most points in a season? They're
Absolutely.
at 60. Okay, so because they are currently at 62, I believe. I'm going off the top of my head. They're at 62. The record is 73. So they need 11 more points, and they got 6 games to go. Are they going to have the most points in MLS history for regular season?
I think they win it by 1 or 2. Yeah,
Okay.
I do.
They need 4 wins. Okay.
I think we would be having a different conversation right now if you would have, like, going back to what we were just talking about. If Miami couldn't play without Messi, no, like they wouldn't even be in this conversation. But they've shown that they can do the job even when you don't have him or half of his friends playing. So,
Right.
Even if they do have to rest him at some point, like whether it's here in Atlanta tomorrow or up in New York, like you can still do the job even when he's not around. So yeah, I think you've got a pretty good chance of I don't think you're going to blow it out the water. I think it'll be close. I think it might come down to decision day, but I do think Miami does it.
I agree with you. And Mitch is saying real quick, if Aaron Judge was to hit 70 home runs and 150 RBIs but only plays 90 games, it would be ridiculous not to give him the MVP. Yeah, but if Juan Soto plays 110 games and hits 60 home runs, they might give it to Juan Soto for playing for getting similar stats and playing more. I'm not saying they would, but I think Luis Suarez might be in the conversation also. Braden, do you think Miami will break that record?
Yeah, with Lionel Messi, anything is possible. But I mean, even without him, like we've all said, I mean, this team is great. They're a really good team. They score goals at will, and I think that'll, at least in the regular season, I'd have to look at their schedule. But yeah, sure, I think they would.
Yeah,
Me and my co-host are about to have a fight.
Yeah. Your co-host is out here, right here.
Yeah.
And look, Tommy says he should not be MVP. It's ridiculous. He just hates on Miami for fun. Edgar, what do you think? You think Messi should be considered? I think you already told me. You told me Luis Suarez should be the MVP.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Actually, I think it should be Miguel Berry just for Tommy.
Oh my God! Get out of here, man.
Say his name, baby.
Do you think Miami will break the Supporters Shield record for most points in a regular season?
If they were in the Western Conference, they wouldn't. I'll say that. I've been hearing all season long. I've been hearing it because I listen to the Atlanta guys. I listen to Charlotte. I listen to the Columbus guys, and all season long I've been hearing about how stacked the East is, right? And then when it comes down to it, there's like 3, maybe 4 teams, and then there's a huge drop off. And then you look at the West, and it's a dogfight. With the exception of Galaxy and MLS, everybody's like eating each other.
They aren't that good. Like
I'm just saying. Play each other. Yeah, but I think if the Pigeons and maybe the Crew have something to say about it, it probably won't happen. But it probably will. And in the end, Messi's gonna get all this media surrounding him and what an amazing player he is. In the meanwhile, Suarez will be like, "Wait, what about me? I'm the one who was here the whole time making this happen." So
just putting it out there, I wanted to double check before I said anything. Miami is yet to lose to a Western Conference team. I just want to make sure I put it out there.
And let's just remember that it took a dirty ref for them to get that point off the LA Galaxy at the start of the season.
Get out of here.
That was awful officiating, and you know it's true.
And the San Jose Earthquakes got 17 points in the West. Come on.
I know.
Yeah.
That brings the average down. That automatically brings the...
Don't sleep on those Smurfs, though. Don't sleep on those Smurfs. They'll get you when you're sleeping.
Everybody's getting they're getting spotted 6 points because San Jose's on the schedule twice. So let's be real. All right, and John, do you think Inter Miami breaks that record?
Inter Miami breaks the record. Yes, they break it, and I think the reason being is Luis Suarez, and that's why he should be a bigger candidate for the MVP over Messi.
Okay, I think Luis Suarez, if he wins the Golden Boot, he gets it. If Luis Suarez doesn't win the Golden Boot and Messi has the most goal contributions, I think he'll get it. But I think it's gonna end up in Miami one way or another. I really do.
As long as they invite NYCFC again to celebrate the trophies, have it Noche de Hours.
Did you make it down here for that?
No way. No way I was going to that.
No, I mean I ain't go either. I don't know.
I was at the regular season game in September.
September last year?
Yeah, last season the
okay.
Miami away game. I was there.
Okay, gotcha. All right, so we got. One thing, big news that I want to touch on before we talk about the games coming up. I titled this thumbnail in this show "Comebacks." Messi came back, Galaxy came back, Carlos Vela randomly came back. I hadn't heard any rumors. I don't know what I found in LA. Those rumors were like sprinkled around and people had heard.
I heard.
Oh, you heard. Okay. It blindsided me when I heard it. So maybe I was out of the loop. What are you thinking, Edgar, about your boys getting Carlos Vela, as they call him, El Rey?
Okay. Let's make one thing clear, okay? There's only one king in LA football,
Oh, okay.
and
Who
that's
is it?
Robbie Keane.
Okay.
Let's count the cups that he won. Let's count all his accolades. What was he doing at the prime of his career in bringing up that old Zlatan quote? What does Zlatan say about Carlos Vela? How old is he? He's 29. You know, at 29, I was playing in the Champions League. What is he doing? He's playing in MLS. All right.
You know, I used to like
as far as
Zlatan.
Vela,
I just hated all the sly little backhanded comments to the MLS, but Zlatan's the man.
yeah, you know, it's a double-edged sword, man.
Not
It's a
having an
double-edged sword.
LAFC fan on here to go back and forth with Edgar. That would have been prime time television.
I should, and somebody in the comments said it, but I had Eric on here from Voice of Black and Gold on here. I had him like 3 times over the last couple of weeks, so I didn't want to bother him again, but I should have.
No, I've had a couple previews for the Trafico matches with LAFC pods, and it's some good banter. You know, it's nothing crazy, but as far as Vela coming back, I had heard rumors from them. Like I said, I have contacts with LAFC pods, and I was asking them what's going on with Vela, and they're saying, yeah, it's probably going to happen. It's just there's like a discussion about his contract, that he wants the right contract, and then it all came down to like, well, there's always been questions about his heart, right? He's very talented, obviously, or he was, but he doesn't really have the heart of like for the game, like some people that are less talented have, right? At least that's what I've been hearing throughout his career. And so then he takes a sabbatical, and then you hear LAFC got Hugo Lloris, right? And then they picked up Giroud. And then you start hearing those rumors about Antoine Griezmann, right? And so who is Griezmann's best buddy? It's Carlos Vela. So they're doing this. Yes, they're doing this so that they can start getting Griezmann ready. I heard Griezmann, from what I've been hearing around LAFC circles, is that Griezmann is a inevitable. It's gonna happen. To ease that transition, they're bringing Vela back to say like, hey, look, we brought your buddy back. Griezmann, next season, he's probably going to come in during the winter or summer transfer window, but it's inevitable. He's definitely going to come to LAFC. And so they're just doing this to like make his landing a little bit softer. So it's a tactical move from the front office. they got nothing to lose. I mean, if Vela comes in and he's that key that helps unlock Giroud, because so far Giroud hasn't been what LAFC expected. You talk to a lot of LAFC fans; they're excited that he's there, big name. What has he done? He scored a fantastic goal against Columbus in the League's Cup, and after that, not much. I mean, he's there. He creates and he gets a lot of attention, but he hasn't been what they expected. Kai Kamara, now that guy's he's been putting in work the entire season. So bringing in Carlos Vela, he might unlock something with Giroud, and if it doesn't pan out, that's fine because he's there to ease that transition for Griezmann. So keep an eye out for that.
I had no idea that they were best friends. I always thought Griezmann would end up in NYCFC, to be honest with you, since he always hanging out in New York. I was really surprised. But Giroud, he hasn't been what I thought he would be there, but he needs service. He needs somebody to cross the ball in, and that's not how LAFC has been playing all year. They were playing pretty good. They had Oliveira, they had Wagner, I felt like they had a solid squad, and they just randomly decided to start changing things. And
they do have a good team.
But they have to figure things out again in the attack now, because now you're just going to throw Carlos Vela randomly in there. I don't know.
Well,
I think that.
Yeah, you're right. And just to go back on what you said about adding Giroud to LAFC and messing with the formula that they had, the ingredients. I know I was talking to good buddy Matt Pollard out in Colorado, and we were discussing at the time. Giroud had come in and Marco Roche had just come to Galaxy, and we asked him, hey, which one do you think is going to have a bigger impact? And he said Marco Roche, because Marco Roche is very, he adds more flexibility to that Galaxy offense. He pairs well with Ricky Puig. He's going to calm Puig down. Puig tries so hard to be the man. And we saw that in the El Trafico game. There's literally a scuttlebutt going around that at one point during the game, Marco Roche came up to Ricky Puig and told him, hey, relax. We got this. We're going to come back. Relax. And at that point, Ricky Puig kind of sat back a little bit more and let Marco Roche handle things a little bit more. So that way it was easier for them. Now, bringing Giroud in there, like I said, Kai Kamara was doing a fantastic job. And I don't think that LAFC expected that from him. And you have Matty Bogusz. He's doing like a great job as well. Yeah, I mean, you saw what he did to Jalen Neal and El Trafico de Robo. He dunked on him. I mean, he got up there, right? I mean, you don't sleep on that dude either. So they have some good, firepower. So you had Giroud, and the question was like, where do you fit him? How's he going to fit into this guy? How are you going to keep all these mouths, happy when everybody's hungry and they want to get on the field? And I guess they're having issues with that now.
For sure, because look, Marco Ruiz, he unlocks Puig, I think. He gives him more space to work with, where Giroud is just kind of just depending on service, and that's not how LAFC has been playing. They've been playing with a false nine most of the year. So all of a sudden you have a striker that needs service, and it's just I'm not a fan of the move. Braden, what do you think? What do you think of the Carlos Vela?
I have a lot of thoughts, but I'll start with kind of an inside joke that people in the Rapids media corps kind of had all year. The Rapids were historically bad at scoring goals last year. Carlos Vela leaves LAFC, and we kind of thought that it would be kind of.
That's Carlos Vela right there. Look at that.
Yeah, I thought he just dropped the biggest cuss word ever.
Yeah, so I thought it was done on purpose. Okay, it wasn't done on purpose. Okay.
No. So yeah, Carlos Vela probably, we thought could be a perfect kind of pickup before, the Rapids started scoring goals again. So an inside joke between us is kind of whenever we would see somebody from the Rapids, it would be we would ask him, when are you announcing the Vela signing? So Vela should have been a Rapid, goddammit. But, I think it's, I don't know. Is he fit? Is he going to be fit to play? Is he going to come in late in games, be a Gareth Bale in the MLS Cup final, score a game-tying or game-winning goal, and then ride off into the sunset? I don't know. It's kind of a weird move to me, but yeah, whatever.
See, Colorado was never going to get him because they don't have his discovery rights. Sorry.
Yeah, no, we were never going to get him, but
I also think that it's a perfect time to sign Vela on the sporting side because, like you said about Giroud, I was watching the game over the weekend, and I kind of felt like Giroud was kind of missing from the game a bit, even though Buwanga was doing most of the running. I think Vela is kind of like how Bale was a super sub just to give that spark in the last 10, 15 minutes, chasing a goal or to add to the attack. I think it would be really good for him and for the team on the sporting wise. I'm just concerned how fit he actually is. Like, how much did he really train the past almost a year, if not more than a year, that he's been out of contract?
Yeah, look, I'm with you. I think it's odd timing. I don't know how he's going to look when he comes back, and then trying to figure everything out. Tyler, East Coast man, any thoughts on the West Coast signing?
Yeah, I mean, I wish Atlanta had signed him. We need a winger right now.
You would have wanted him?
What's that?
You would have wanted him?
Over what we have right now? Absolutely. Absolutely. Our left wing right now is in shambles. It's really rough. But, I mean, I think for LAFC to do it, it was definitely odd. Like everybody said, the timing was weird. But it does make sense, with the whole Antoine Griezmann kind of connection. If that's
I was unaware of that.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that being done. Not that, and that's the thing, that's like a whole different topic with MLS. Like you have teams like both of the LAs, Miami, New York because of the city, Atlanta because of the stadium. There are some teams that can draw guys in just because of what they are. Like, Antoine Griezmann's not going to go to St. Louis, and it's not a knock against St. Louis, but like at his point in his career, like why would you go to a place like that, right? So if they felt the need to bring in Carlos Vela to bring in Antoine Griezmann, like, look, if you've got the money, you've got the GAM, whatever you got to do to make it happen, more power to you, right? But yeah, I mean, it was kind of out of left field. I kind of thought he was going to move on maybe to a Mexico team, like Liga MX team or something else. But I mean, he's still a legend in LAFC, whether we like it or not. So I'm sure some of the fans are happy to see him back.
I think he could only add to his legacy. I don't think he could tarnish his legacy at all at this point with LAFC. I don't think there's nothing bad can happen. I think the worst thing that can happen to him is like in a big playoff match.
He whips a kick or something.
Yeah, like something really catastrophic or something. That's the only way. And that wouldn't even tarnish his legacy. It would just be like a bad last memory of him, which would always be talked about when you speak about Carlos.
Which is similar to what happened with Joseph here in Atlanta. And
would you take Joseph back right now?
No. Not even.
You would take Vela, but you wouldn't take Joseph?
Absolutely. Joseph has been at Miami and now at Montreal, and he's still not doing anything close to what he did in Atlanta. And Atlanta, to be fair to Joseph, Atlanta's not built to be a Joseph Martinez team right now.
Like Saka?
I mean, look, I need somebody up top that's like 7'10" that can get on the end of a ball. Joseph Martinez is not the guy for this team.
No, he's not that guy. No, I got
you. There is another former LA player that did what Vela did, and that's Landon Donovan. He took that sabbatical to take care of his mental health issues, to just relax, unwind, get himself in the right mind space. And we don't know. Vela is a very private person. Maybe he just felt like he needed to step away from everything and reevaluate his life. And if that's the case, then good for him, right? I mean, who are we to tell him how to live his life, right? And then for him to come back and try to help his old club, that's all well and good. And like I said, if it helps with the whole transition for Griezmann, that's good as well. But Landon Donovan did it, and he looked kind of rusty at first, but it took him a while. But he finally got things going, and he helped his club for a bit until he finally just couldn't. But maybe we can expect to see something similar from Vela. So yeah, it definitely brings more eyes to the league from casuals. So no harm in that.
Does he get the captain's armbands anytime soon? Like maybe he comes on the field in the 85th minute, and then whoever, I don't know who, Eli Sanchez, I think is the captain, gets subbed out, and then he just walks over to Bell and hands him the armband for the last 5 minutes of the match at home.
Yeah,
you don't think?
And the fans just give him a nice little ovation.
They eat it up. They
throw some beer bottles onto the field to just celebrate. LAFC style.
John, a quick question. I live in Miami. Like I told you, I supported NYCFC, but I was living down here while I was doing it. How bad was it with the failed experiment with Villa, Pirlo, and Lampard? Like
I think
like
as a whole,
Ooh.
it didn't come on the sporting wise. It wasn't what we wanted. Well, nobody expected it coming from. We did not expect Lampard
to
to
never play.
barely play and be hurt a lot. We didn't expect Pirlo just to completely fall off
Fall
the
off the
map.
cliff. Yeah.
From one day to the next, just
Mm-hmm.
completely forgot, lost all of his agility, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I guess you could. I guess the Pirlo had one goal in 2 years, 2.5 years, or whatever it was, and that one assist as well. I think so.
Yeah,
It's
he
not
was.
like that's those stats alone tell you how bad it was. You know,
They came out with a bang with those big 3 signings, but it was a failed experiment.
yeah. B is the only
Yeah.
one who could say that he played for the badge on and off the field. Like he was the captain on and off the field for the team, and you could say that about B.
All right, so this week we got games on Wednesday and games on Saturday. Not sure. I know these graphics are small and quick, but are there any games that you guys are looking forward to? Obviously, I'm sure Tyler's looking forward to getting his ass kicked by Inter Miami. Anybody else
wait.
looking forward to anything tomorrow?
New York City, Philadelphia.
Yeah, I was gonna say that one.
Since the 2021 playoffs and maybe the year before that has been spicy. That rivalry has, for the fans, I think for me, like it's a juicier rivalry than the Rebels nowadays. Like the multiple playoff appearances that between the two teams. I think the year we won the cup, we played them on decision day and then played them again in the Eastern Conference Final. And
Do you think you think you guys beat them in the Eastern Conference Finals if half the team doesn't have COVID for them?
Yeah, why not? Why?
Because you were losing with that bad team.
What do you mean we were losing with that bad team? We actually finished the season with 6 straight wins and ties.
But Philly was the best team that year in the Eastern Conference.
Well, maybe the best, but not the smartest. Stay home. Why
Okay.
Why you throwing a party for your captain? Andre Blake is the captain of the team. He should know better. Why are you throwing yourself a birthday party?
Fair.
Don't blame him. Don't be mad at NYCFC for doing their job and being responsible.
Fair. I was just asking if you thought you would win anyway. That's all. Okay, because my cousin has the NYCFC tattoo on his arm, so I like to give him a lot of shit for that Eastern Conference Finals game. That's all. All right.
but think about the other teams we beat. We sent Atlanta packing that year. We sent New England, who was the Supporters Shield, the highest point scorer of all time. That season, we sent them packing away. We went to Philly, sent them packing away, and then went to Portland and sent them packing away. So how is it that it's a questionable asterisk championship if we had to legitimately beat other teams?
No.
You know?
I just said Eastern Conference Finals. That was the COVID game. That's what I call it. I get it.
Yeah. And then they'll say the following year was a rematch, right? Which they won and went on to lose against LAFC. Yeah. So they said, oh, we look at a full squad. But then that was the year we were half injured. We were missing our Keaton Parks, who was a star that year. We were missing our right back. We were missing our starting forward. Signed, it was loaned to Girona with no replacements. We were the team was shorthanded at that point. I think if we go back with the same team, we're spanking them again.
Fair.
Yeah, there's a lot of games that I'm looking forward to for playoff implications. Sorry, guys, my son just got home.
No,
But I always say people forget about the Trillium Cup. Toronto, Columbus. Toronto's hungry to secure a playoff spot. Maybe they'll get Columbus sleeping. Orlando, Charlotte are both foaming at the mouth for points right now. I know Orlando had that rough start. Charlotte's been falling off. Two teams going in opposite directions. Charlotte's going to want to get something before it gets too late. Houston, Vancouver. Houston's been on a good run. Vancouver suddenly started to pick things up as well. Ryan Gals was scoring some really good goals for them. And then Kansas City, Colorado piques my interest because I want to see if the Rapids can win a game like that on the road in a place like Kansas City. If they're going to be fighting for that third spot in the West. They're gonna need to secure those points in Kansas City at Blue Hell. So looking forward to those. And of course, I'm gonna keep an eye also on that Austin LAFC game because Austin's terrible right now. But if they can somehow do something to hurt LAFC, that's all good for me, baby.
That for sure. Braden.
Yeah, a note on the Kansas City Colorado game. Both of those teams, let's say Colorado wins, Kansas City loses. Colorado could a lot of things have to happen, but if that's the situation, then Colorado could clinch a playoff spot and Kansas City could get knocked out all on the same night if Colorado wins. So yeah, just another layer to that. But I do think I agree. Kansas City is a tough place to play. The Rapids won the July 4th game this year. They had to come back. It took a 90 plus fourth minute penalty from Georgi Mihailovic to win that one. So yeah, should be fun. Portland, LA should be really fun, even though it's at Dignity Health. I think Portland is coming on as they do.
That game's in Portland.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's not an easy game for Galaxy.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, Evander is an MVP candidate. I think probably top 5 or top 6. He's not going to win it, but yeah, he's in the conversation. They're playing well, even with the loss to Colorado this past weekend. So I think that's a game that piques my interest as well.
Tyler, anything other than the Atlanta-Miami game?
I mean, I got to give a shout out to Atlanta again against Red Bulls, only because, like, you know, we talked about rivalries, but in the beginning years of Atlanta, like Atlanta and the Red Bulls, that was the only like legitimate rivalry that Atlanta had. Everybody tried to say Orlando. That was manufactured, but Atlanta Red Bulls, they hate each other. They hate each other. 2018 Eastern Conference, like that was some crazy football. Atlanta just last year finally beat the Red Bulls in the regular season for the first time. So teams, they despise each other. But getting away from the Atlanta thing, obviously Atlanta, Miami, I think to me, just for what it is must watch because you're going to have Messi probably beating the crap out of Atlanta as an Atlanta fan. But, you know, we talked about the kind of the dog fights. Like the Western Conference, I think, is definitely like kind of coming into the end of the season as a dogfight, but the Eastern Conference for most of the season has been that way. But you look at the Eastern Conference right now, man, and you have 6 points between the very bottom and a play-in game. So it is anybody's game down at the bottom. Like Atlanta could fall out of it again as an Atlanta fan. But any game involving, you know, Philly, Montreal, Chicago, Nashville, New England, I think it's going to be entertaining because you're going to see what the teams are made of. You're going to see if they can man up and actually make a run. And we all know once you get to the playoffs, anything can happen. The odds might not be in your favor, but anything can happen. So yeah, any of those bottom 5 or 6 teams in the Eastern Conference, any game they're involved in, I'll watch them just because it's entertaining.
For sure. I'll wrap it up with this question and then we'll sign out. Are you guys for or against the play-in? The 9 teams that technically make the playoffs, and then you have that play-in game? Because I'll tell you personally, I like it. That's the reason that Atlanta still feels like they're in it. And then I forgot who the 9th seed was.
No, we don't.
No, you don't feel like you're in it? You don't think you can make that 9th seed?
No, I think they can. I think they can. However, I don't know that the team feels like they can. That's the problem. Okay. After what they did against Nashville the other day, it felt very. And look, I'm not the pessimist on my show. Like it is very much Sydney. I'm not the pessimist, but the performance that Atlanta came out against Nashville the other day was god awful. It felt like they had phoned in the rest of the season. I hope that's not true. And yeah, absolutely. They can make the play-in game. They could win. They could go into the actual playoffs. I just don't, the way they played the other day, they don't deserve it. And, you know, anything can happen, but I do enjoy it for the entertainment value. I will say that, but I don't know that. Shut up, Omar. I'm not the pessimist. I do think, like, again, from a neutral standpoint, as long as your team's not in it, yeah, it's fun to watch. And I think it does add a little bit of flair because it's that one-off game, right?
Yeah.
But to answer your question about Atlanta, no, I mean, I don't know that their head's in it at this point.
John, how do you feel about the 18 teams that technically make the playoffs? You think it's too much, or you like it for the drama?
Two things. I think it's too much, but at the same time, I understand why it's there. So it gives like the bottom half of the table teams belief,
Something to fight for, yeah.
Something to fight for at the end of the season, like just to get into those spots. You get a possible extra home game, and let's say you get through that playing game, you definitely get another home game. That's revenue. That's all that stuff. But I do think it's a little too much. Too many teams. It is too many teams. I don't know what's the answer to make it better, but I think the 2 out of 3 games, the 3-game round, the following round.
Yeah, that's too much.
I think that's where it gets more wackier than 8-9 teams. I think 8-9 teams you could kind of justify, especially with expansion going to continue to happen again. And you could kind of make that argument for that,
Yeah,
but
I agree.
The way the series, there's a single elimination game to get in, and then there's like 2 out of 3. Then it goes to like one
single
game
elimination.
later.
Yeah,
It's like, let's get it together. I know they want more games, but you get the same amount of games if you just put home and away.
I agree.
I think.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say. I think take away one series, like do the top 5 and then 6 and 7 for the play-in instead of, that extra round. Like you've got too many at this point. And yeah, I think if you were to do, like as it stands right now, you would have New York and Charlotte trying to play, as opposed to Toronto and DC in the Eastern Conference. You do that, and it's a little bit more meaningful for the regular season, I think.
I could agree with that.
Yeah, I was gonna say at this point you're kind of trying to sell hope, right? To places that have completely lost it, like Atlanta. I mean, I listen to you guys, and you guys are like, "We're done, we're cooked." But then there's that little carrot dangling right there. You might get another playoffs.
That commercial with the dollar bill.
Yeah, you almost got it. I just feel like it kind of waters down like the playoffs, but I think it's so nonsensical too to have that 2 out of 3 thing. I remember MLS did it like in the early years, and it was kind of silly. I just don't like it. I feel like it's too many games. Like we're talking about a congested schedule. You hear what's going on in La Liga? Sorry.
No, all good.
Yes, I'll eat the pretzels. I promise. So yeah, we're talking about congested schedule. You heard what La Liga, they're talking about maybe having a player strike because there's so many games on top of the international. Okay, Papa. And so yeah, I'll settle with that. Danny, you can finish my thought, right?
All right, I got you. No, and I get it, and I agree with you saying it could be too much. But look, in the EPL, I know everybody loves the whole pro rel thing. Well, let's be real. They make it entertaining by telling teams that, hey, don't worry, you get to stay with the big boys for another year, even though you have no chance of winning, but just don't move to the second division. Like we all try to figure out a way to keep it entertaining for everybody, and that's how we're doing it over here. Braden, what do you think?
Yeah, my idea was the same as Tyler's. Cut it back to 7 teams. I would love that. And I think keep the 3-game series in the first round after the
That's too much. I wish it was just a home and home. The 3 games makes no sense to me. Just do a home and home if you're going to do that.
Yeah, I could see either way. But the point is, like, you have the multi-game first round, but then you take away that extra matchup that comes with the 9 teams making it from each conference, and it kind of evens out. But I think it makes it more competitive for the top 6-7 teams. But if the point is to give every team something to play for all the time, then bring a relegation system in. I think I'm for that.
No way.
For it.
I mean, we would end up staying here for another hour if we want to get into this. So I'm not going to do it. But I think in this country that'll never work. Look, you have teams that can't fill up stadiums now. Imagine if they would have dropped down to the second division. If Inter Miami drops down to the second division, I'll still go to some games, but I'll go watch the Heat play instead of watching my second division team play. Like in this country, it won't work.
But Indy 11 and the MLS, come on, that'd be awesome.
Indy 11.
Forward Madison, away days in Wisconsin. Come on, guys.
Get out of here.
Hey, Pittsburgh Riverhounds, baby.
Hey, Detroit. Detroit would be a cool place for a derby.
Nah, they're anti-MLS, man. They hate MLS.
That would make it even more fun.
Well, I might be in the minority here, but just so everybody knows, I am an avid hater of the U.S. Open Cup. I know that that's blasphemous for most MLS circles.
Ooh.
Exactly. But I hate the Open Cup. I hate watching the Yankees play against the Jumbo Shrimps. Like, it makes absolutely no sense to me. Like,
What
let's
about
play
the Savannah
against.
Bananas?
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, that might be fun.
Hey,
But-
that's
There you go.
entertaining, though.
yeah, that might be fun. I'll give you that. That one I'll give you. But for the most part, like if you're a top level team, play against other top level teams. And if you want to keep it, just expand the roster. But if I had to pick between the Open Cup and Leagues Cup, and everybody watches the Battered Herons knows, I'd go Leagues Cup over Open Cup if I had to pick between both of them.
Says the guy who's won the Leagues Cup. It's the only reson probably why.
No,
you're feeling
absolutely
that
not.
way.
Or no, I had this conversation before the Leagues Cup happened. But yes, we won it. But that's not why. I'd rather beat Mexican teams that are top flight than beating Indy 11, Miami FC, Alabama, Birmingham. Shout out to everybody in the chat who's waiting for me to say that. Oh, there he goes. See, because everybody says that I always bring up Alabama, Birmingham. Like, I just don't see.
You say it like Alabama is the capital of Birmingham.
Birmingham,
the other way
Alabama,
around.
whatever. Yeah, Birmingham, Alabama. Well, I forget their name. They have a name. It's Birmingham.
Locomotive San
Legion.
Antonio.
Birmingham.
Yeah,
Look,
it's the Legion.
Legion.
Birmingham
Yeah,
Legion,
okay.
yeah.
So I want no parts of that. If you want to be a part of it because it's cute, because it's been around for 104 years, 114 years, whatever it is, fine, let's stay in it. But if I have to pick, I'd rather pick and play against the big boys in Mexico than play against Indy 11.
But what's the
pick
point of
those.
playing in Mexico, playing against the Mexican teams if the MLS is clearly dominating them? Like, if it continues to be total domination for another 2 to 3 years, then you got to really seriously evaluate what are we doing here. Is this-
I agree. I agree.
You know?
But
And then
aren't we
the tournament-
dominating the USL teams?
You still get USL teams making it to semifinals regularly, semi-regularly. At least
So we
one
didn't-
team go making it to
Sacramento
the
made
semis.
it to the finals 2 years ago.
The Mexican
You know?
teams also. It's just only been 2 years.
Cincinnati knocked off 3-4 MLS teams on their way to the semifinals that one year,
It's not-
or the finals
yeah.
that year. You
Yeah,
know,
well,
so
or you mean
Cincinnati and
okay, before they became an MLS squad, you mean?
yeah, they beat Red
Okay,
Bull.
yeah,
I think they beat
yeah.
Chicago.
They lost to Red Bulls.
They lost to Red Bull. Oh, that's right. But they beat Chicago. I think they beat Columbus on the way there.
Yep.
Yeah.
So look,
Like I said,
Red Leagues Cup out.
yeah,
just like you
and,
do
and
the
look,
Open Cup,
and expand
make-
the rosters and expand the
Well,
rosters.
that too.
If they could do that, then yeah, play in the cute little Open Cup. I'm okay
Play
with
some
it.
games in Mexico too.
But yes, I would love that also. If that, I think that would make Mexican teams more competitive, and also the schedule thing kills it also because of the fact that when we're playing Champions Cup, they're into their season, and
Yep.
Nashville played their first Champions Cup game during the preseason. Like,
Yep.
So it's very difficult for MLS teams to compete at that point. And then when we're starting Leagues Cup, they're 2 games into their new season. So we have an advantage because we're kind of already rolling and got chemistry and all that. So I feel like that part of Leagues Cup is, and I don't know how it could be fixed. But again, if
What
I
I
had to pick
understood-
between the two,
So what I understood is that you don't want the scheduling issues because of the preseason aspect of the Champions Cup is because Miami can't get out the first round. Probably is why you don't like.
we got to the second round.
Yes.
Technically, we got to the second.
Yeah.
No, we made it. Is that the quarterfinals?
NYCFC made it.
Monterrey?
NYCFC made it to a semifinal one year. I was kind of cool with that. I was like, you know what?
Nah, I don't know.
The
The Open
COVID year.
Cup, look,
That was the COVID also year.
yeah, look, you
Yeah.
guys did well that year. Look, like I said, Open Cup to me, just the fact that we play against the lower division teams, to me, it's not exciting. I understand that it's exciting for the lower division teams, right? Because it sells out their stadium that one time a year and all that other stuff. But let's say hypothetically, Miami goes to play against Birmingham Legion, and then Messi doesn't play. How disappointed would they be? Because the reason they want us to go is to fill up that stadium.
He doesn't
Yeah,
play
they
against the big boys now.
They get to see
Right.
Suarez.
And they're going to be disappointed. If he goes to Atlanta tomorrow and he doesn't play in Atlanta, Tyler, how upset is everybody going to be? What are the
I
prices
mean-
looking like tomorrow?
He's already did it one time because he decided to eat pizza instead of come up to Atlanta. They'll be pissed. Yeah, I agree.
Exactly.
But
So
look, it is what it is. Y'all, the thing is though, it's funny coming from Florida. Y'all have so many freaking teams down there that are in the Open Cup. Like there is
but nobody
there
cares
is
about
a
them.
potential possibility that Lionel Messi could play in an Open Cup game against a team that is in a retirement community, man.
That's
Like
Why would you want that?
No, this is what you need.
because
This is what you
Just
need. You need the fever. You need to catch the U.S. Open Cup fever, and the only way to get that
Doesn't exist.
is by going to an epic road game.
That's not a fever. That's COVID. You're still hung up on your COVID year, bro.
An epic away game in the U.S. Open Cup. To me, the best away game I've ever been to in 10 seasons at NYCFC was the Cosmos match the first year when NYCFC took 2,000 away fans to their college soccer / lacrosse stadium out in Long Island. And it was one of the best atmospheres I've ever been to. And I've been to games all over the world. And that's the type of stuff, like when I've gone to other places on the Open Cup, you need one of those experiences where you go to a road game and you end up in Birmingham, Alabama.
I'll tell you.
And it's like in a great atmosphere and the game's emotional. There's like a last minute to tie the game. You go to penalty kicks and then you lose. You got to lose that spot. You got to lose in that position for you to fall in love with it.
Like I'm gonna just leave it here because, like I said, we could literally. I'll go for another hour. I love having this debate because I hate Open Cup so much. But I'll end it here. Before Inter Miami existed, Miami FC, the USL team, existed forever. So that was the only local team. Nobody gave a crap. Nobody gives a crap about that team, and they didn't before. They definitely don't now, and they won't moving forward. And when they play each other in the Open Cup, everybody wants to hype it up. I'm telling you, that stadium's still empty. Nobody cares. Like, the only reason that they get people there is because it's close for Miami fans. Since we don't have to travel to Broward to watch Inter Miami right now, we're like, oh, we get to watch them locally, like for real, like right by the house. Other than that, nobody cares about Miami FC. Nobody cares about Tampa Bay Rowdies. Nobody cares about Birmingham Legion. Like, if you're not in Birmingham, you might not care about them even if you're there. But if you're not there, nobody cares about them. Like, why?
But that's the point. It's like it's not your job to care for their teams. You got to go to their hostile environments. Miami FC not having a fan base, it's on them. It's not on the indicative on the rest of the teams in the country. Because there's a lot more teams that are more like Birmingham, Alabama fan base than they are Miami FC in those levels in the USL. Those fan bases are existent. They do exist.
Tony X is right. Pro Row probably would have been a shorter conversation. Look, if anybody in the chat that watches Battered Herons, they know I can go on forever with this. But like I said, we're probably never going to see eye to eye on this, but that's okay. I know I'm in the minority, and that's okay. I get that. I just hate it.
I never want to see you celebrating in case one day Miami wins it.
Oh, I celebrate. I celebrate preseason wins. So like, I celebrated the Charlotte Open Cup, not Open Cup. Was it the Carolina Cup? We won the Carolina Cup. I got it on a shirt, like, and nobody even knows what that is. So I'll celebrate it, but I hate it. Let's see. So I guess, it's time to sign out. So I appreciate each and every one of you guys for hanging out for the last hour and 22 minutes. Sorry, we ended up going too long. But just let everybody know where they can find you. Tyler, for those of you that know Tommy from Scars and Spikes, is Tyler, his brethren. What's going on? Let us know where they could find you and where you are podcasting wise.
Yeah. Me personally, it's just ATL Pilgrim on everything. But yeah, the podcast, Scarves and Spikes. It's on Twitter, it's Scarves, the letter N Spikes, and everywhere else it's just Scarves and Spikes. Scarvesandspikes.com.
And Tyler right here is the one that led off the Messi pizza saga last year.
Yeah.
That was Tyler. He was the one that led off that disgusting pizza picture. And
I went to that restaurant when I went to Miami last year, September.
Look what you did, Tyler.
I know, man.
And I was all in. Give me the Messi.
Yeah.
And I got something else, another pie and some empanadas. It was Copa Libertadores. Boca Junior was playing. It was beautiful. Time of my life.
Are you Argentinian, John?
No, I'm Ecuadorian.
Okay, because I saw the World Cup trophy in the back. I thought it might be Argentina.
Yeah, I've been to 2 World Cups, so I have 2 trophies. I started collecting them every World Cup.
Very cool. Very cool.
Trophy, yeah.
And just real quick, for everybody in the chat, before you head out, please leave us a like. You don't understand how much that helps the channel grow, trying to grow here in the MLS. John, let everybody know where they can find you. And
all right, I'm John Sanchez on Twitter and Instagram, but you can catch the pod NYCFC Forever Pod on Instagram and Twitter, on all sources, streaming platforms and everything. NYCFC, we speak a lot about more on the culture of the fan base, of the vibes. That's what we kind of talk about a lot, about the vibes of the fan base. That's our thing. If you're into more of like stories, like war stories, like in the sense of like marches and away games, that's kind of what we do more. Talk a lot about more.
And so you like the Open Cup?
Yeah, I'm on the road. I've gone to a lot of MLS games. I've been away games a lot. Like, you know, the Instagram memories and Facebook memories. It's like every day I'm at a. 3 years ago, you were in. I was in Denver a couple years. 2018, I was in Denver. I got that notification. That was yesterday. So
there you go. And perfect transition over to Denver right here. Braden.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Braden Nurse. Just as you see it on the screen, no spaces, no characters, no nothing. Not really a podcaster, but I do write for the Denver Post, so you can catch all my work at thedenverpost.com. So yeah, that's where you can find me.
And last but not least, Edgar, where can everybody find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram on Instagram as Edgar Nags, on Twitter as NA_GS, and I am from News Across the Galaxy at Nag News. You see it right there. Hit us up, any Galaxy stuff. And if you guys are ever in the LA area, hit me up, and I will treat you like a king or a queen.
I will be in LA in 2 weeks for the Korn 30th anniversary concert.
I'm going
at BMO. Yeah, I'll be there.
I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be wearing my battle vest and everything.
I'm gonna be wearing my NYCFC jacket.
Let's go, man. Hey, hit me up.
Yeah.
Hey,
all right.
look,
Yeah. I'll get you right now.
And that's why we're doing this MLS show. We're trying to build this community in the MLS because it's growing and we need to grow it faster. So I love that. And for those of you that aren't aware, Daniel from Battered Herons, Inter Miami show. So make sure you check us out there. As always, we appreciate the guests and the panel here. Hope to have you guys back at some point. Edgar, I hope to have you back with an LAFC, maybe Eric, because I think that would be really fun to have you guys there. Hopefully, Western Conference Finals. That would be really fun to have you guys there.
What is your shirt?
It's that Johnny Cash shirt.
Yeah, it's the Johnny Cash
with Messi.
Right, when we beat them in League's Cup, I felt like it was appropriate to make a shirt with Messi's face over Johnny Cash. But batteredfans.com if anybody's looking for unique shirts
that's the kind of petty that I do get behind.
I like that.
That's the type of stuff that I do like.
I can't do this for Birmingham, Alabama, though.
Yes, you can.
Yes, you can.
Yes, you can.
You know, you just need a little thoughts. You know,
you're right. I'm gonna put some effort into it. If we're in the Open Cup, I promise you, Birmingham, Alabama is getting a shirt. I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
All right. If you are listening on audio, we appreciate you listening all the way to the end. Please leave us 5 stars, comment, review, all that good stuff. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you for watching all the way to the end. Please like, subscribe, tell your friends that there's a new MLS podcast. We're 9 episodes in, trying to grow it. So please like and subscribe. And then for those of you in the chat, as always, you guys are the best part of the show. We appreciate you kicking it with us for the last hour and a half. And we'll be back next week. And we'll see. Maybe Supporter Shield's wrapped up by then for Inter Miami. And we'll keep talking. So until the next one.